All right, I've been getting a lot of questions regarding the test score release timeline. So I figured I would make a video to describe what's going on here because it is kind of concerning, especially for the people that are trying to plan their busy season testing. So it is anticipated, I'm just going to read this is directly from NASBA's website. It's anticipated that testing will commence on January 10th, right? That started 13 days ago for all sections, while the core sections, right, audit, FAR, and reg, will be first available for scheduling through March 26th of 2024. The discipline sections will be available through February 6th. So they're really only giving you a little tester window to take these tests through February 6th. So if it starts on the 10th to the 6th, you're really 20 something days of testing on this before they close that down. And then once it closes down on February 6th, you will not get your score back for April. So that's most of February, most of March, most of April. That's a 3-month gap before you get your score back on the bar, ISC, and TCP exam. So that's kind of a big deal, if I do say so myself, because if you're not going to get your score back for 3 months, what are you going to do in that time? I mean, do you start the next test, or do you continue studying for that if you don't think you passed? But let's not talk about the discipline exams. Let's talk about the core exams. So the core exams is also interesting. So here you're going to test from January 10th right through March. So all of January, all of February, most of March, I should say. And then you're going to have a receipt of your score on June 4th, right? So that means you got to wait for April, you got to wait for May, and the first few days of June. So it's only 2 months. So it's a little bit better on the core, but still, that's a big gap in terms of waiting for your score date, right? And same thing for, it gets a lot better once you get to quarter two, June 25th, right? You only get it to the end of July, so it's a little bit more than a month, but still now on the core, on this one, once again, big gap on your disciplines, okay, for the second quarter. So you just got to pay attention to the fact that, you have, well, not as big as the first one, which is almost 3 months. This one's only 2, right? So if you take your exam from April 20th to May 19th, you'll get your score back on June 28th. So the way I kind of see this is that you should be kind of doing your core exam and then taking a discipline in between in order to kind of break away on the fact that you can get one score back closer than the other. July 1st to September 25th, right? Your approximate is November 1st. So if you take it in September, you have to wait all of October. Once again, only 4 weeks, which is about average. And then if you take the disciplines, you'll have the 31st. And that means you got to wait for August and a few. So it kind of levels out. This third one is probably your best, where they're kind of almost equal. But once again, notice that they're not the same. So if you take an exam, you're almost kind of like the game plan that you should be kind of focusing on is splitting, right? Taking your core exams almost as like one test and taking your discipline as another. So whereas before you would kind of leave BEC to the end, now you might want to kind of do a core, then do a one of the disciplines, and vice versa. This has 2 asterisks, right? Because it could go throughout the 24 Q4 window. So there's a lot of change to be happening. I think the biggest takeaway here is that the exam, as we know it, is changing, and so we have to be more cognizant on how we plan for to actually sit for the exam rather than just taking the exam, right? The content is one thing, the planning is another. And so, you really have to coach this out to make sure that you understand when you're going to sit so you don't get stuck, waiting to take an exam or waiting for a score back.